What do you mean, Ethan's taking over as CEO? My voice rang out in the freshly revamped lobby of our family's hotel, the Pinewood Retreat, bouncing off the sleek, forest-inspired decor I'd spent a year perfecting. My mom, Ellen, waved a hand dismissively, her tone soft but cutting. Leela, sweetheart, your brother has a natural knack for leading. You're better suited to the details. Before I could respond, Ethan sauntered in, hands in his pockets, flashing that infuriating grin he'd worn since we were kids. Hey sis, don't take it personally. Someone's gotta keep the gears turning while I steer the ship. My name's Lila Bennett, I'm 50, and after 2 decades running luxury hotels in Seattle, I never imagined I'd be fighting for my place in my own family's business. I'd left everything, my career, my savings, my life, to save our failing Colorado lodge, only to watch my parents hand it to my younger brother, Ethan, who'd never held a steady job. It's not about the gears, I said, my voice shaking. I saved this place, me. This is a story of sacrifice, betrayal, and building something new when the people you love let you down. Stick with me, because if you've ever poured your heart into something only to have it handed to someone else, you'll feel every moment of this, and the ending will show you what it means to rise above. The Pinewood Retreat was on its last legs when Dad called me, his voice breaking. Lila, we're weeks from losing it all. The hotel, a family heirloom since my grandparents opened it in the 60s, was drowning in debt-dated rooms, no online presence, reviews calling it a relic. I didn't think twice. I sold my Seattle apartment, drained my savings, and came home. With 20 years managing high-end hotels, I knew what to do. Ethan, 47, was off consulting in Boulder Code for bar hopping and vague startup dreams. He'd never cared about the lodge, while I'd grown up in its halls, learning every nook, from front desk to furnace repairs. Those first months were brutal. I overhauled the booking system, replaced moldy carpets, and trained staff who'd been winging it for years. I used my industry contacts to land us in travel blogs, and slowly, the Pinewood transformed. Bookings tripled, reviews glowed, and we turned a profit for the first time in a decade. Every detail, the handcrafted cedar furniture, the locally sourced coffee, was my vision, my sweat. But standing in that lobby, watching Ethan smirk as Mom and Dad named him CEO, I realized they didn't see it. They never had. The announcement was set for that night's staff meeting, where I'd planned to share our record-breaking quarter. The team people like Maria, our head housekeeper of 15 years, knew who'd saved the lodge. Their eyes followed me, heavy with unspoken support, as Mom praised Ethan's vision. I wanted to scream, but I stood there, jaw tight, as Ethan clapped me on the shoulder. You're the backbone, Lila. Keep it up. The condescension burned. Growing up, Ethan was the charming one, skating by on charisma. While I studied hospitality management, he flunked out of 3 colleges, chasing big ideas. Mom and Dad called him free-spirited, while my promotions in Seattle got a tepid, "That's nice, dear." When I came back to save the lodge, Ethan barely showed up, popping in for dinners to toss out half-baked suggestions before vanishing. Yet somehow, they saw him as the leader. The weeks leading up to the announcement were a slow torture. Ethan strutted around, making reckless changes. He slashed our signature breakfast buffet to cut costs, ignoring that guests raved about it. When I showed him the date and 90% of reviews praised our food, he laughed. Numbers don't tell the whole story, sis. Then came the morning. I found him firing Maria. She's not adapting to my new schedule, he said, shrugging. His schedule would have left us short-handed during checkouts. Maria's face, humiliated, scared, broke me. I stepped in, reversing the decision, but the damage was done. I marched to Mom and Dad with spreadsheets, guest feedback, and projections proving my work. Dad stared at his shoes. Mom patted my arm. Give Ethan time, Leela. He's got great instincts. Their dismissal was a gut punch. Driving home, I saw a for sale sign on the old Aspen Hollow Inn. Our rival that had crumbled last year. Its location closer to the ski lifts, with sweeping mountain views, sparked something in me. I pulled over, staring at the faded sign, my mind racing. I'd given everything to the Pinewood, and they'd chosen Ethan. Maybe it was time to build something for myself. I called my realtor from the car. The owners were desperate to sell, and with my savings and credit, I could make it happen. By the next morning, I'd scheduled a viewing. For the first time in months, I felt alive, electric with possibility. I wouldn't watch Ethan ruin my work. I'd create something better. The next 6 months were a blur of grit and hope. I bought the Aspen Hollow and transformed it into the Crestview Lodge, pouring my heart into every detail. Sustainable materials, a farm-to-table restaurant, a spa that rivaled the best in Denver. While Ethan threw parties at the Pinewood, I worked with contractors, hired top talent, and built a team. Many of them Pinewood veterans fed up with Ethan's chaos. Word spread fast. Some called me petty for betraying my family. Others, like Maria, quietly cheered me on. Mom and Dad tried guilt-tripping me. "How could you do this to Ethan?" Mom asked at a tense dinner. I smiled tightly. "I'm just doing what I'm good at." Ethan's mismanagement tanked the Pinewood. Reviews plummeted. Guests complained about dirty rooms, broken AC, and rude staff. 3 key employees quit in a month, and they slashed rates to stay afloat. Meanwhile, the Crestview's grand opening was a triumph. The lobby buzzed with guests. Local press snapped photos, and my parents' faces when they walked in. Mom's forced smile, Dad's stunned silence, Ethan's barely hidden rage said it all. Ethan cornered me by the bar. "You're trying to bury us, Lila. This is war." I met his glare. "No, Ethan, this is me succeeding without you." The Crestview outshone the Pinewood in every way. Our eco-friendly initiatives drew eco-tourists. Our spa booked out months in advance. Every idea Mom and Dad had shot down at the Pinewood thrived here. But success came with hurdles. Pinewood vendors, loyal to Mom's social circle, hesitated to work with me. Old family friends stopped inviting me to brunches. The local tourism board dropped me, citing a conflict. I fought back, sourcing vendors from Boulder, partnering with ski resorts, and innovating QR code check-ins, virtual tours. Each obstacle made me sharper, hungrier. Then came the bombshell. Mom and Dad showed up at my office, looking older, worried. The Pinewood's loans were being called in. Ethan's mismanagement had bled them dry. "We need you back, Leela," Mom said, voice trembling. "Not as CEO, but to guide Ethan. We're family." I leaned back in my chair.com. "I offered to lead a year ago. You picked Ethan. Now you live with it." Dad tried another angle. "Your grandmother's legacy, Lila. This hotel's our heart." "I tried to save it," I said, voice steady. "You gave it to someone who treats it like a toy. I'm building my own legacy now." They left, defeated, and the town's whispers grew vicious. Lila, the ungrateful daughter, tearing her family apart. It stung, but every morning, walking into the Crestview's vibrant lobby, I knew I'd chosen right. My team, Maria, our new head of housekeeping, and others who'd fled Ethan's reign became my family. They believed in my vision, and their loyalty kept me grounded. The turning point came at the Rocky Mountain Hospitality Awards. The Crestview was up for Best New Boutique Hotel. The Pinewood wasn't nominated. As I sat with my team, the announcer called our name. The room erupted, and I walked to the stage, heart pounding. I spotted Mom and Dad in the back, uninvited, their faces a mix of pride and pain. Ethan was absent, avoiding events he called pointless. In my speech, I thanked my team, our guests, and the Pinewood, where I learned to love this industry. The crowd shifted, catching the edge in my voice. Backstage, a travel editor from Mountain Looks pulled me aside. "We're naming the Crestview Best Boutique Hotel in the Rockies," she said, "and we're running a piece on struggling legacy hotels, featuring the Pinewood." I nodded, a mix of vindication and sadness washing over me. My parents, hovering nearby, overheard every word. The article hit like a wildfire. It praised the Crestview's innovation and called out the Pinewood's decline, pinning it on poor leadership. The town's whispers shifted. People who'd called me spiteful now admired my grit. Mom and Dad called a week later, asking for dinner. I went, curious but guarded. "Over roast chicken," they tried. "We're proud of you, Lila," Dad said, eyes down. "The Crestview's incredible." Mom jumped in. "We know we didn't always show it, but we see your work now." I waited, sensing the ask. Sure enough, Mom continued. "The Pinewood's sinking. Ethan's in over his head. Can you help him?" I looked at them, their hopeful faces, and felt a quiet strength. I offered to lead. I said, "You chose Ethan. I can share strategies, recommend vendors, but I'm not cleaning up his mess. My focus is the Crestview." Mom's eyes welled up, but she didn't argue. Dad nodded, resigned. Driving home, I felt free from their expectations, their favoritism. The Crestview kept soaring. Occupancy hit record highs, and we fielded calls from hoteliers wanting advice. Ethan hired a consultant for the Pinewood. A small step, but we barely spoke. His resentment was his problem, not mine. I reconnected with old friends, hosted community events, a fundraiser for the local food bank, packed our new event hall. The town started to see me not as the bitter sister, but as a leader. Some nights, I'd think of mom and dad, wishing things were different, but I didn't need their approval anymore. The Crestview was my proof I was enough. A year after that lobby showdown, I stood in the Crestview's lobby, sunlight streaming through skylights, guests laughing over coffee, staff moving with quiet pride. A family checked in, kids buzzing about their ski trip. Maria caught my eye, smiling. "You built this, Lila." I nodded, a lump in my throat. Ethan's smirk, mom's dismissal, dad's silence, they'd meant to keep me small, but I'd built a lodge, a legacy, a life. That moment in the Pinewood, when they handed my work to Ethan, wasn't the end, it was the start. The Crestview wasn't just a hotel, it was my heart, my fight, my triumph. And as I watched the lobby hum with life, I knew I'd never let anyone take that away.